So Colbor, Colbor, I don't know how to say it. Colbor sent me some lights to shoot today. I guess they think my videos suck too. Anyway, they sent me two of their bicolor lights. I'm not going to review these. I'm just going to do a shoot with them. But I can say I love the size of them. You know, that to me, I think is amazing on, how small these things have become. I don't know the CRI and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you can find a ton of technical details on these lights somewhere on YouTube. But for me today, I have an old friend coming in. She was probably my best muse ever when shooting. She's the girl I bring in to try everything, to do everything. And, I was going back and forth with saying, she's a mover and a shaker. Like she moves, she poses, she nails it every time, which makes life easy for us, the photographer, because she knows what she's doing and allows you to do what you do or to practice different techniques and not have to worry about the model at all. But, I was going back and forth between using the Sony to capture every moment of it, and the Hasselblad to get the best possible quality imaging to the Leica. And for me, she's moved away, so she only comes in once in a great while. It's been months and months and months since I've seen her. So I really want to enjoy the experience. And for me, the only way to really enjoy the experience is using the Leica and manual focus. So that's what I'm going to do. I really want to enjoy the time with her rather than, machine gunning a Sony or, I just want to enjoy what we have today and, make it something special. So anyway, I know you guys think I'm long-winded, some of you, but today I'm going to try to get through the whole shoot with these Colbor. For a fact, like when I was using the Neos and the AOs, like I'd get a few minutes into the shoot and I'd switch over to flash or switch over to something else because I didn't like them. With these, I can use these modifiers, and I'll show you a quick video, right after this of the setup and so forth. It was pretty easy, and you'll see the size. But when it comes down to it, no matter what, no matter the features, as a photographer, the only thing that matters to me is the finished image. What kind of ISO am I going to get off of these, and what's going to give me as far as image quality. That's all I care about. And this, I'm using a small softbox with a grid, and then I have a Fresnel, a focusable Fresnel on this one, which is making that pretty powerful. But I just want to see what I can do. And I think she's like the one to do it with because, like I said, she knows what she's doing, and I can just concentrate and enjoy the shoot. I'm going to try to keep these out of my way as much as possible, so I'm not playing with them constantly, and enjoy the company, my fishing trip. Anyway, here's the shoot. Thanks for watching as always. So like I said, this is not a review by any means, but I guess you can take it as a review when you see the photos. But I do like the size of these. So that's the only thing I can say, positive right off the bat, because I have not used these yet. The size is great. The build quality looks great. All the other details I don't know about and I don't care about. The only thing I care about is when I turn them on, point them at the subject and take the picture. Whatever that end result is, that's what's going to matter to me. This thing that I'm putting on here is the Bowens Mount. I was kind of worried about because I'm thinking, this little thing that's being held on by two spring-loaded ball bearings, I don't know if it's going to be able to hold a softbox, but I'm going to put the Aperture Mini on there. And believe me, the Aperture Mini has some weight. And I want to see how it holds up. Obviously, it's going to hold the reflector without an issue. But anyway, the size and form factor I love. I think this is wonderful. Personally, I'm not going to carry these things around to locations, but I know a lot of you will. And, this has a USB-C powering port, which, that's how you power this thing. So I'm guessing you can power this with battery banks or, V-Lock batteries. I don't know. But I'm going to plug them in, because I'm in the studio. So, that's all that matters to me. I'll have endless amount of time with them because they're going to be plugged in. But anyway, the look and feel is great. That's all I'm going to say. And to me, at this point, that's all that matters because I'm not using them in a photo yet. This is that little USB cable, which doesn't have any kind of locking system. So I have to wrap the cord around the stand to make sure it doesn't pull out, which I think is stupid. I did look in the bag for something, maybe they have something in the retail version of this, but there's nothing in the bag for a cord keeper or something, to make sure that doesn't pull out. And then I'm just going to use my stand loops to hold the power pack itself, like you know what I'm talking about, that box that's at the end of these cords. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap that around my stand loop so it doesn't yank on that cord even more. Other than that, I have the Aperture Mini with a grid, and I do have the inside reflector on it. After looking at this, I'm just going to close the shade, and it's just too dim. So that inside reflector has to come out. For a high-powered LED or for flash, I love that thing. But for this, it's just, there's not enough light coming off this thing to make that work. It's better, without it. Even, it's a soft box, and it has a grid on it. So it's not bad light with that, but it's not, it's not powerful. That's, obvious from what you see here. Now, on the second light, I'm going to use the Fresnel, and this is a focusable Fresnel. I love this thing. I don't know the brand name of it or anything. If I find it, I'll leave it in the description. But anyway, I'm going to use the regular reflector, which is okay. But I'm going to use both and, use them during the shoot, and you'll see what I'm doing. So hopefully it's a worthwhile shoot. So as always, I'm starting with the gray card. Now with the Leica, I shoot the gray card in white balance, and it sets the balance for me in camera. I think you can do that with other cameras as well. It's just been so long. But I'm shooting the gray card separately as well, so I have it as an image for Lightroom just in case I need it. Now with these lights, I'm starting with the two lights. I'm only using the two lights throughout the shoot, but I have the one in the Aperture Mini light dome and the inner diffusion out, and that's a grid on there. So the light is not as powerful because of that grid. A grid definitely eats up a lot of light, but it's giving me enough because I'm using it more as a fill, and I'm using that zoomable Fresnel as the main. And I love that little zoomable Fresnel. I have to find it and put it in my. If I find it on Amazon, I'll put it in under the lighting in my store or list or whatever they call it. But now I'm just moving it over, and I'm using it as a spot on the backdrop, and I'm going to use the gridded light as the main. I moved it a little closer to get more light out of it. But what shocked me is I'm shooting at ISO 200, 180. I think I went up to 400 once, but immediately went back down to 200. And I'm probably at 2.8. I went down to 2 a couple times. Now that light to the left, I have to adjust. Like I took it down to maybe 20% with that Fresnel on it as the hair light. The other one is always at 100%. But you can see it's just a little too hot, and I had to pull that back a little bit in Lightroom with the highlight adjustment. And I'll keep adjusting it, but that's easy. And I say this pretty much on a lot of my videos. It's easy to overdo the hair light or the rim light and make it too hot on a model. So just be careful with that. And I'm just shocked to say it was too hot on a SL60 LED. But you see there, I just have this hint of light coming. You can see it on her elbow and a little bit in her hair. I just wanted that touch of separation to make it look not so unnatural. Now, believe me, I'll turn that puppy up later to get more of a dramatic look. Now, this here is a little mirror. I use this quite a bit when I'm shooting still shots like this, because I want to throw some light in her, on her left, on my left of her, in her eye, because it was, it was falling off too quick. So this mirror is going to pick up that light and throw it back in. You can see it gave just the right amount. This is it here. I don't have a link for this. You just have to go on their direct website. The name's going to come up here, just freeze the frame, and that's where to get them from. Dado Light, they're expensive. And this one's like the number 2. It's the medium. It's not as shiny as the number 1. You'll figure it out when you see them. But they're a lot of fun to use, and you can really, really play with these things. So this is a gridded overhead shot. I had her look up. The normal stuff that I would do with flash, I'm doing with these, and I'm getting good results. So now when I put her in front of the pink backdrop, though, I'm going to switch over and get rid of that grid for this one, because I want more of a coverage on the pink backdrop, because I have an issue with that uneven backdrop thing when I'm shooting like this. Since I took the grid off, I know it's not going to change much, but I still shot another white balance just in case, because the light's close to her. There's no grid on it. It has changed. But the light's really kind of nice. And, you're getting the light in the eyes. Her eyes are dark, so it's really hard to bring them out more than this. But it's good coverage, and it's working well. Now, I went to just the one light with the zoomable Fresnel, and obviously the video didn't adjust correctly, and I didn't go over and adjust it because I'm not a video man, that. But anyway, I just had fun with this. I'm not thrilled with the look, but I don't hate it. It's a nice dramatic look. I think I'm going to put these into black and white, when I end up editing these. But, it's a really fun look. And, this one, I zoomed it out more so I can get more coverage on her. Simple, easy, one light. And then I'm going to go back to 2 light because it'll drive me nuts. Anyway, so I went back to the Fresnel as the back rim light, and I have the main light with a grid on it again because I wanted a more dramatic look. I'm using the back black or gray backdrop to have it fall into black. And, you can see on the right side, or right, I just need a little bit more light on the hair to have that separation, and that's my fault. Which is a really good reason to tether while you shoot. But, and with Leica, it's easy because I just tether wirelessly on the iPad and I would have picked that up. But I was too lazy. So, they're the things you have to pay for when you're too lazy. But again, in post, when I edit these, I'll be able to fix that. Now I'm turning, I'm going to do the whole blue and, turn the camera to, what I'm doing. Tungsten anyway, but stupid me, I put them both at that tungsten level instead of having the one at the regular level and the other one at tungsten. So I set the camera to tungsten, the front main light to tungsten, and then the back light to 5500K because that's the only way I'm going to get some kind of blue in there. Anyway, it gives just this nice little kick of color to the image without having to put a gel on it or having an RGB light, which I loved. I thought it was great. And I know this company has RGB lights, by the way. They're really nice. But anyway, this was the shoot. I like the lights. I got through a whole shoot with them, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I'll leave the link for this light somewhere.